From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story at 2:41 Alaska Standard Time this afternoon. History was made when the tripod on the Tanana River was toppled, triggering an alarm. Now, the previous record for the tripod going down was the morning of May 20th, 1964 at 11:41 a.m. The unusually cold and long winter had frozen the Tanana River to over 50 inches thick at one time, and this in turn, along with cool nights, had helped hasten the ice from rotting, not allowing the tripod from collapsing and triggering that alarm. Now, according to Ice Classic officials, there is only one ticket that will claim the prize of $318,500. That winner has been notified, and there are a couple from Kenai. The process to determine the winner came down to an intriguing formula.
Well, we'll go to the closest minute of the actual minute if no one has guessed the actual time that the ice has gone out today. So and then if people have guessed, say there's two guesses on each side of the actual winning time, and nobody has guessed that winning time, then we will split the money equally between the 2 minutes.
Authorities resumed their search today at the Chena River near the pump house for an apparent drowning victim who they say is also tied to a burglary and theft incident. Alaska State Troopers say they received a report of a man heard screaming in the water near an overturned kayak Sunday evening. Troopers have conducted an intense search for the man, identified as 33-year-old Joshua Graham. Earlier that evening, another Fairbanks resident reported he returned from a 4-day work trip and found his home had been broken into and items were missing. Now, troopers say items in the kayak on the river match those the homeowner identified as stolen. They say it appears Graham had broken into the man's home and had been living there for an extended period of time and then left, taking jewelry and other items. Fairbanks police are investigating the death of a 52-year-old man whose body was found Sunday morning on a construction site at Illinois Street. Fairbanks Police Sergeant Doug Wellborn says they received a report of a deceased male around 7 a.m. Now, the man, identified as Howard Todd Ziegler of Fairbanks, was not an employee working at the site, and it appears he may have walked into the area and fell approximately 20 feet sometime between 1 and 7 a.m. Police say they do not suspect foul play in the case. Wellborn says the man's body has been sent to the state medical examiner's office in Anchorage to determine a cause of death. With his eye on a possible 2014 U.S. Senate run, Alaska Tea Party candidate Joe Miller and that campaign were dealt a serious setback after a state court judge ordered that he pay the Alaska Dispatch more than $85,000 in legal fees the print media organization racked up in their fight against Miller. That ruling was handed down late Friday by Judge Stephanie Jonitis. The attorney's fees and costs were incurred from the Dispatch's 2010 lawsuit aimed at making public Miller's employment records with the Fairbanks North Star Borough, where Miller had been employed as a part-time borough attorney. The borough was also ordered to pay over $12,000 in attorney's fees, also going to the Anchorage-based print media organization. Now, in part one of a two-part interview, Joe Miller spoke recently with News Center 11's Daryl Lewis about his senatorial intentions, lessons learned from his 2010 run, the state of the country in Alaska, and why he's the man for the job in our nation's capital, as opposed to his possible opponent, Democrat Senator Mark Begich.
Thanks. The 2010 U.S. senatorial race for Lisa Murkowski's seat on the U.S. Senate arguably was one of the most contentious in state history. And those close to the political process remember how it all eventually panned out. Now, years later, one of those candidates, Joe Miller, says he's contemplating another run for U.S. Senate. Only now he has his sights set on junior Senator Mark Begich.
Have you heard from the public and as far as what he is doing and what he is not doing?
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things that we've recently seen with his change on the gun control bill is that he's trying to make himself appear more conservative than he really is. And I applaud every time somebody votes conservatively, but he does have a record of 4.5 years of supporting Obama, which has not been, I don't believe, good for the country. It certainly has been socialist in its approach. And so I think that come the general election, people are going to understand that, look, what we're really voting for here is somebody that wants to grow and expand government as opposed to somebody that wants to get government back on the right fiscal track and wants Alaska to focus not on that easy money, but on the resource base to expand our economy.
what are your feelings about the job that is being done in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I think I'm with 90% of Americans that really are upset with the way that Congress has acted. Even the president has a poor approval rating. It's not, the disapproval isn't nearly as high as that for Congress, but I think as a whole Americans are very concerned about the direction of the country. They recognize that it's continuing to grow, efficiencies are not being built in, and I think particularly here in Alaska, one of the major concerns, it's certainly one of my major concerns, is the growth of power of government.
Now, when we come back, the village of Circle dries out after the Yukon River floods the community. Also, another look at natural gas in Fairbanks. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Residents of the village of Circle are drying out after ice jams in the Yukon River caused moderate flooding throughout the town. Water levels rose 5 to 8 feet Sunday morning, knocking several homes from their foundations. No major injuries were reported from the 113 residents who live in Circle. Waters quickly receded Sunday evening, but residents remain lodged at the community school. Downriver, minor flooding is being reported in Fort Yukon. The frontage road to the town is impassable, and water was reported to the steps of the tribal hall. A flood warning is in effect until 4 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. The Department of Education has approved Alaska's waiver request from certain requirements under the No Child Left Behind Act. In 2011, the Obama administration said it would let states pass on specific provisions of the act if other provisions were met. Alaska applied for the waiver last year. Senator Lisa Murkowski responded to the approval, thanking the department. However, she fears the waiver is nothing more than swapping out the old regulations and implementing new federally approved measures. For over 50 years, Interior Alaskans have been hopeful about bringing natural gas to Fairbanks. And after this past legislative session, the possibility is greater than ever. News Center 11's Fred Brown has more.
One issue constantly on Alaskans' minds is fuel and all the other questions that come with it.
Well, the community has seen the fuel oil prices increase a double in the last, since 2006, it's doubled from $2 to $4 a gallon. And we've been switching, as a community, we've been switching to lower price fuel like wood. Burning wood has been causing problems for air quality. And, everybody's trying to get along to pay their energy bills.
Last month, the state legislature approved a financial package worth over $350 million to continue preliminary work on bringing natural gas to the most populated areas of Alaska.
What we're trying to do is get gas delivered and through a gas distribution system to the home for the equivalent of $2 a gallon fuel oil, which would be half of what we're paying today.
However, bringing energy relief to Fairbanks, North Pole, and the other areas of the borough is neither cheap or quick.
It's going to be expensive. We have to build a plant at the North Slope to take that gas and compress it into liquefied natural gas, which is LNG, that can be trucked to Fairbanks. Once it's trucked to Fairbanks, it has to be put in a tank and then regasified and then put in a pipe.
Well, the gas trucking plan, I believe, is a 2-year plan, so it's important for them to get a good start on things right now. But it still will be another winter, possibly 2, before we really see any gas relief. And this is a short-term answer. So immediately we need to start looking at what we can do this next summer. If you're burning wood, cut it down now, get it stored up, and get it drying.
Fred Brown, News Center 11.
Fred Brown will have more on those planning to bring natural gas to the borough on tomorrow night's edition of the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final. A local auto dealership is encouraging the public to become involved with a promotion they're currently running. Kindle Cares is an outreach to the community with the ultimate bonus of $5,000 given to 4 nonprofit agencies in the Fairbanks North Pole area. The campaign is based on the idea of the community members voting for their favorite agencies. Then at the end of the month, the local Kindle auto dealership will determine the winner and donate $5,000 to each of the top 4 agencies selected.
We ask members of the community to come into the stores and put in their nominations for a nonprofit charity of their choice. At that point, there will be a selection committee which will pick the top 15 nonprofit organizations. from the 15, 4 will be selected from the community. Will vote on our Facebook account the 4 nonprofit charities that will receive the $5,000 donation.
Joe Cook joins me now, and hey, I saw some of the track and field people from Service who came up for the meet this, and I apologize for our weather. That was just terrible Saturday.
Yeah, Friday too. I've never seen anything like it, but it was a busy weekend in local sports. We'll have the results from that state track and field meet. The MAC soccer titles were decided, and the first ever state tournament was in Fairbanks for a sport, but find out which one it was. That and more coming up. Hello, Interior sports fans, and welcome back for the weekend recap. The last ASAA state track and field meet in the Interior wrapped up Saturday. The state meet will move to Diamond next year. Kodiak won the 4A boys title with Diamond in a close second. Lathrop was fourth. The West Valley girls finished seventh, while Diamond won with 71 points, their fourth title in 5 years. For the small schools, Crazy Christian ran away for back-to-back girls titles, and ACS won the boys championship. For complete state results, including individual winners, just go to the sports page on webcenter11.com. And yesterday, the Mid-Alaska Soccer Championships were decided in the first tournament of its kind due to the short season. And the girls' title game, the Wolfpack, looking for revenge. Hutchinson beat West Valley 3-1 earlier this year, but Audrey Wade, she will put it home for West Valley 10 minutes into the game for an early 1-0 lead. Wade, a.k.a. Audie, was just in another gear. Madison Atkins, she will also assist with a nice pass to Wade, who will get the kind roll and bounce off the post for another score. Jasmine Bourne shut out the Hawks with 10 saves, and West Valley wins 2-0 over Hutchinson for their 7th straight region title.
Hutch deserved all the confidence they had. They played a really good season. I think that West Valley has a really strong tradition in girls soccer. And the fact that we were the number 2 seed really ate at the girls. So they really worked hard, and this game meant a lot to them.
We wanted it a lot more. Like last time we played Hutch, we got destroyed. So this time we wanted revenge. It was really important. Like our seniors have been to state every year for like the entire year they've been at West Valley. So we really wanted to win. We didn't want to be the first break in the streak.
And the North Pole and West Valley boys also battled for the MAC title. Patriots goalie Brady Crane was great with some fantastic saves in the first half, which went scoreless. And how about this? Defenseman Garrett Woolman from 45 yards away, and it goes right through the keeper's hands. Wow, what a goal. Then senior Anthony Gibson, he scores just 3 minutes later, and now it's 2-0 North Pole, looking to run away with this one. But West Valley's David Carr said, hold up. Carr converts the corner kick with the header, and that's the first goal Crane gave up all season. But Rafael Martinez puts this game away with 10 minutes left, and North Pole goes undefeated in the MAC with a 3-1 win over West Valley.
It was pretty good. Defender scoring is pretty cool. When we played them before, their goalie kept on just standing out there, so I just went for the shot.
It was the best thing I ever felt, winning against West Valley. We losing to them 3 times in a row, it just feels good, especially on our home field.
I mean, he not really a goalkeeper by trade, but he gets the job done and well. I mean, it's big. I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, last time we went, I was a senior, so I mean, it's good to be able to take the next group of kids back to state and represent North Pole.
And the last time the Patriots were in state was back in 2006. But there was also some high school baseball on Sunday. The Lathrop Malamutes, they rolled 14-1 over North Pole. The Malamutes are now 5-1 in the MAC. The Wolfpack came in undefeated, but Monroe beats West Valley 9-4. Baseball teams will have a few days off until Wednesday when Delta plays Monroe at Groudon Field at 6 p.m. And finally tonight, it was the first event of its kind in roller derby. The first state tournament in roller derby was right here in Fairbanks this weekend. 6 teams participated in the United Reroll Alaska State Tournament hosted by the Fairbanks Roller Girls at the Carlson Center. There were some close games, but the Yukon Roller Girls beat the Fairbanks Raven Rebels 179-120 for the first Alaska State Tournament roller derby title. The roller derby event was also a chance for people to learn about the sport with boot camps headed by trainers all the way from Texas. Next year's tournament is slated to be in Denali. The event was not only about competition, but the close roller derby community.
It means a lot. We've gotten to meet some great skaters from all over the state. We've had our time with them. We've learned a lot, so it's been a great derby boost, and we love it here.
this is totally a sisterhood, and that's why we named the tournament United We Roll, because we're really trying to bring the roller derby in Alaska together. This is the first time anything like this has ever been done, and it's just really amazing to be part of it and to have everybody here. And you know, even when we get beat or we beat somebody else, we're all tight and we're all, you know, great hit, and we're going to be going to galas later and having some beverages and celebrating all the bumps and bruises and split lips and everything that we got.
Sounds like a good idea. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool. Alaska Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again for a look at the weather. And what a beautiful day it was today. Not compared to the weekend. Now, the weekend looked like winter, obviously, but we have finally turned the corner. I think we're definitely heading toward a decent spring and even an early summer. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Our photograph for tonight, this one's sent in by Alicia Libby. This is ospreys out at Fort Wainwright. A very voracious bird, and they're really very cool to look at there too. If you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at ktvf11.com. What's going on out at the airport? 56 for our high today. That's a good sign. 54 currently. The low last night, a very chilly 16 degrees, a record low. 80 degrees, the record high in 2002, 28 in 1964. Sunrise this morning, 4:11. Sunset, not quite 11:30. Works out to 19 hours and 19 minutes of daylight. Here's our satellite picture, and you can see lots of clouds to the west, but that's where they're going to stay because high pressure is really dominating all of the central sections and right on down to south central and over southeast Alaska. You see that because that's reflected in the temperatures. Look at the temperatures, very nice. 50s and 50s everywhere you're looking. Tomorrow it'll be in the 60s over much of southeast Alaska. Again, 56 degrees around the Fairbanks area. Little rain falling at Nome area, 34 degrees. Cloudy skies in Barrow. And Fort Yukon, 52 degrees and lots of sunshine. Okay, lower 48 weather. In case you have not heard, it's been a very, very violent day across much of Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas. Tornadoes, unfortunately, have taken 51 lives, caused widespread property damage. You'll see more on the NBC Nightly News. They've got good coverage for that tonight. Elsewhere, we have rain across the Pacific Northwest. And on the satellite and radar, you can see these storms just explode across parts of Oklahoma into Kansas and Missouri. They're moving slowly to the east and taking with them, again, more possibilities of more tornadoes, all because of this area of low pressure sitting here. This storm system has got a lot of things going for it. It's got a strong jet stream coming out of the southwest, a cold air to the northwest, and warm and humid air to the southeast, all those working together to bring the violent weather and the tornadoes. Unfortunately, things look a little better for tomorrow, but still some severe weather expected across much of the country. Back to Alaska for tomorrow, though, things are a lot quieter. Little rain and snow at Barrow, rain showers for Nome, and sunny skies in the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, couldn't ask for better weather. Mostly sunny skies and warmer at Fairbanks and Healy. Temperatures over 60 degrees, too. That's good to see. Over southeast Alaska, looks like a few clouds at Ketchikan. Otherwise, lots of sunshine expected in Juneau. Out to the southwest, a little sloppy out there. Rainy conditions at Bethel and Cold Bay, cloudy skies at Kodiak. And over the south central sections, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies at Anchorage, Homer, and Valdez. Well, the sunshine is coming out. The temperatures are warming up, which means the pollen count is going to be changing. In fact, our pollen count has changed since last week. The trees are getting to medium levels, still low levels for weeds, mold, and grass. And again, thanks to our friends at the Tanana Valley Clinic for updating that with us each week. Our forecast for tonight, mostly clear skies and a little warmer, 28 degrees for the overnight low. Here comes the good news, though. Look at the highs tomorrow, 61 degrees, another day like today, lots of sunshine, and it looks even better on the 5-day outlook, as you can see here, looking at temperatures rising to the low 70s by this weekend, and daytime highs, or overnight lows, I should say, also warming up very nicely to 40 degrees. No precipitation expected, so finally, we're going to finally get our just rewards, guys, and get into more of a springtime atmosphere. And the long-range outlook is calling for even warmer temperatures for Memorial Day.
Wow. No, we talking temperatures in the mid-70s or
so? Possibly.
Yeah.
I would have never thought after seeing Friday.
Oh yeah, that was amazing, and the record low from last night.
Oh yeah, 16 degrees. Wow,
that's crazy. That is.
The folks in the lower 48, though, man, they're just taking a beating.
Yeah, they
really
are,
bad,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, a reminder, KTVF and Bailey's Furniture are teaming up for a Spring Dream giveaway where you can win a furniture package from Bailey's worth $2,500.
Tune into the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final each night for the first half of a mystery word.
Then visit Bailey's Furniture for the second half and complete your entry form there for your chance to win.
We'll announce the lucky winner during the Fairbanks Evening News this coming Friday. All right. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us. Now, as Mike said, tonight on NBC Nightly News, a follow-up to that massive tornado felt in Oklahoma. That's next with Brian Williams.
But you can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And that will do it. We'll end it tonight with some of that beautiful video we have for today from a great day. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you back here again at 11.